Question 8 is to evaluate functions by using synthetic substitution. Here we have a question. There's a polynomial over here. It's cubic, power 3, highest degree is power 3, and over here it's divided by this binomial. Now remember, when we do synthetic substitution, this must be degree 1, which you're dividing by the divisor, and the coefficient also must be 1, otherwise you cannot solve it. Now here these are important, the coefficients, the sign is also important over here, and this is important. You need to understand what is the x value you're dividing with. X plus 3, what is the x value? Just equate this to 0, x becomes minus 3, right? So here this minus 3 is what we are writing out separately like this. And then you write these coefficients one by one. Now remember, sometimes the question over here will have f of x, say f of minus 3. Then you have to take this minus 3 as it is. Why? Because this is f of x itself. Whereas over here x value will be minus 3 when you take it to the other side, but this is already x value given to you. So that is the difference. Now what you do is, whatever is this value, right? You bring it down, write it. This is how it is. These are the coefficients. And now this is being multiplied. See, this number is being multiplied here and you write it over here. Or you can write it like this. Otherwise, the arrows are put even like this. This multiplied here and written like this. That's also fine. Next one. This has been added. You write it down. And now this has been multiplied to this and write it up over here in the next term. 3 times minus 3 was minus 9, added up, minus 11. Minus 11 times minus 3 is positive 33. Add them up, it'll be negative 20. Negative 20 times 3 will be what? It'll be positive 60. Add them up, it's 0. So this is synthetic division. Very simple. Whenever the remainder is 0, that means this is a factor. Now, if there is some remainder value, then that value can be used differently. We will see in problems later on. But this is the main idea of synthetic division. Now, the answer over here will be reduced by 1 degree. See, now over here, if this was power 3, you can easily directly start with x power 2, x constant. This is remainder, something else, different. Leave that for now. Here, this is constant term, x squared. If there is one more, it will be x cubed and so on. So you can see it's 3x squared minus 11x minus 20. That's the answer. Now let's look into other problems here. Jessica evaluates polynomial. This is given over here for factor using synthetic substitution. Some of their work is shown below over here. Find the values of a and b. Now the problem is you just can't solve it in calculator without knowing the method of synthetic substitution. There's no way you can do it. But now what do we need to find? A and b, right? This b can be found out easily, but you need to know this a value. How would you know it? We know this is the first value which goes down. This multiplies over here and then it comes over here, right? So 1 multiplied by what will give you 11? It's obviously 11. So this is 11. Let's check whether it works. Add them up, it will be positive 6. 6 multiplied by 11 gives you 66. Yes. Write them up. And what is 11 times 69? 759. You can check it in the calculator. Now add them up and write over here. When you add it up, 764 is the answer. So A is 11, B is 764. Isn't that easy? So that's the answers. So if you know the method, very straightforward. Because over here 1 times A must be 11. So that's how we find it. And 5 plus 759 must be B, that is 764. We have a real world problem. State your assumption. The revenue from streaming music services in the United States. The revenue from streaming music services in the United States from 2011 to 2016 can be modeled in this equation here. It's a long one. Where X is the number of years since 2005 and Y is the revenue in millions of US dollars. Estimate the revenue for streaming music service in 2010 and what might be the revenue which will be streaming in 2020. What assumption did you make to make your prediction? So now we are using this equation over here and finding it for 2010 and 20, but this equation is only valid from 2005. So what is the years from 2005 to 2010? It is 5 years, right? So here the x value must be 5. Now you can go ahead and do the synthetic division with x of 5, say like this over here. See, you're writing 5 over here, writing all the coefficients and do it. But this is going to take forever, right? I'll tell you a shortcut. All you need is your calculator, but it takes time because you need to write this entire equation in the calculator. That is 0.26 x to the power 5. Write x value as it is using alpha and the closing bracket symbol. That gives you x minus 7.48 x to the power 4. Then we have to write plus 79.2 x to the power 3. Then we have got minus 333.33 x to the power squared, it's 2, plus 481.68 x to the power, that's it, x, that's it, no power, plus 99.13. Huge equation, but now you see the answer is just by pressing calc. And how many years are we using for? Are we solving for? 5 years, right? 5 years from 2005. So I'll type 5 equal to, the answer is 211.78. So about 211.78 in terms of what unit they have given, modeled in X number of years, and Y is millions. So it is 211.78 millions that have been generated in 2010. That's the answer. Now for the next one, what will it be in 2020? So all you need to do is change it to what year? 15. Why? Because from 2005 to 2020 it is 15. So same equation, don't change the equation, don't press on or AC, just press calc and change from 5 to 15. What is the answer? 18,387.58, but this is all millions, so 18,387 millions. So that is the answer. Now, what did we assume over here? This is important. The assumption is the model still represents it after 15 years. See, when you describe a model based on whatever data you have, it will be valid for 5-10 years max. It may not be 100% same for 2020 as well. It changes. There are different variables every year added into picture. So at most in the present time, for 1-2 years, you can model with certain thing, but then this changes, So you cannot rely on this answer. Another real world problem, the natural exponent of y is equal to e to the power x is a special function that is applied in many fields such as physics, biology, and economics. It is not a polynomial function. However, for small values of x, the value of e to the power x is very closely approximated by the polynomial function over here. Okay, it's only for small values. This is the function of e to the power x. We need to use synthetic division to determine f of 0.1. But since it's again MCQ part, no need of doing synthetic division. Calculator method is more than enough. Just type it out. It's 1 divided by 6. And then we have x to the power 3 plus half, that is 0.5, or you can write 1 by 2, it's fine. X power 2 plus x plus 1. And the answer, now don't press equal to, this is not the answer. You need to calculate it at what? 0.1, and let's see. This is the answer. It's 1.0151. You can see over here 1631 divided by 600 is so much. How can I prove that? Here, this is in mixed fractions, right? Remember this value. To get mixed fraction, all you need to do is press shift and this fraction. Now write 631 divided by 6000 and press SD. See, that's the same answer. So you just have to check all the 4 options. That's the only thing you need to do. Okay. Over here now, you have to use synthetic division. There is no calculator method. Why? Because there is a constant value over here. So you can't have 2 unknown variables. In the last problem, we did a calculator method, but we cannot use that over here because we don't have all the x values, right? So here you must use synthetic division, and let's do it. I'll do the second one, okay? This one is pretty simple, I guess. I mean, both are same. So what you do is write the coefficients. 1, over here it's k minus 17. What about this? X is equal to positive 2. So let's start dividing. This goes down. It will be how much? 1. 1 times 2 is 2. Add them up, it will be 2 plus k. Multiply it over here. Finally, we get the answer. 2 times it will be 4 plus 2k. Now, there is an important thing which I forgot to read the question. I'm also thinking how to solve it. The remainder is 3. See, remainder is 3. That means the last term over here is 3 no matter what. Now, can we solve it? Yes, absolutely. Why? Add them up over here. Just add it up. And that must be equal to this. So, it's minus 17 plus 4 plus 2k will be equal to 3. You can put this in the calculator directly and solve. Here all you need to do is press negative 17 plus 4. It's plus 4 plus variable written as alpha x because we don't have k symbol as variable. 2x equals how much? It's 3. Shift and solve. Then press equal to. The answer is 8. So the final answer must be 8. You can see over here k value is 8. Now, there are tricks and all, like if you know 3 over here, substitute 3, and there are certain things, but that's just complication. Okay, this was the other answer, so this is the answer 8. Okay, so please avoid them because you might get stuck. There might be some issue. So it's better to do the straightforward method with the method itself. You should know the synthetic division. And over here, right, just minus 17 plus so much is equal to 3. Put in the calculator, you get the answer. Same thing goes over here. You can see the worked out solutions. Not that difficult. Over here, you can just multiply it inside. Now, what happens in the left one over here, 50th problem? You get a quadratic. Why? Because you can see over here, k is multiplied. It will be minus 5k minus k squared. So all you need to do is 7 minus 5k plus k squared equals 3. Rearrange this and get it in terms of quadratic. K squared minus 5k. 3 inside will be 7 minus 3 is plus 4 is equal to 0. Is this okay? So now this one needs to be solved in calculator by mode phi 3, which I'll show you now. All you do is press mode phi for equation and 3 for quadratics. The coefficient before x square or over here k square is 1, then minus 5 and lastly 4. And the answer is 4 and 1. So k value is 4 or 1. So both are the possible answers. Over here it was direct problem. Just solve for k, you get the answer. The next problem, here we have to find function of minus 8 equals 0. So this is given. And this is also given. Find all the zeros of f of x and use them to graph. Okay, so now basically you need to just solve them. There are plenty of ways. The easier way would be just solving this. I'll show you now. Solving by mode phi, and this is a cubic 4. Now they have told minus 8 is already a solution. Why they have told this is, if you're doing synthetic division, use minus 8 and solve it up. But if you're using this, just take the equation. Now it's 1. Over here, then it's minus 1, minus 58, and 112. Solve it. What is the answer? Yes, 1 is a solution. And what are the other solutions? 7 is a solution and 2 is a solution. Now you can graph it. See, this is the function graph. Minus 8, 2, 7. Those were the answers. Now, if your graphs are given, then you can just make the table method and solve it. I'll show you that as well. If at all your exam was given such that your options are given such that you have 4 different graphs for this particular question. Go to mode, 7 is for table, and type this equation. It is x cubed minus x squared, and then we have minus 58x plus 112. And just press equal to. This option may not come. If it comes also, just ignore it and press equal to. That's it. Now, where do you want to start? Look at your graphs and see the appropriate range. I'll start over here, say minus 8, and end at around 8 or 9. 8 only I'll end. And step let it be 1. I'll have all the values from 8, minus 7, minus 6, and so on. You can see at minus 8 it's 0. At minus 7, what is the answer? It's 126. Yes, it's approximately correct. At minus 6, it's 208. Yes, and so on. You can see. Just focus on one point. What I would do is I'll just go to 0 and see, okay, it's 112. At 0, it should be 112. Other graphs, maybe two graphs only will have 112. Other all graphs can be eliminated. So similarly, look at another point. I will look at say 2. Okay, 2 must be 0. Look at the other graph. Easily eliminate the other graphs and only 1 will be your answer. And over here now, we have again a similar problem. You can just put this in the graph. Over here, table mode 7 for graphing table. Otherwise, you can just go to mode 5 and 4 and solve it up and get the answer. But I just realized over here there is a k value. So now, if there is a k value, what you need to do is you have to solve it. You need to find at least what is the k value and then continue. So now they have told p of 1 is equal to 0. That means what? This is a factor. Factor in the sense remainder is 0. Now imagine you're dividing 4 by 2. What's the answer? It's 2. Is there any remainder? No. But what if I do 4 by 3? It's 1 and 1/3 is the remainder, right? So that has been added. So here they're easily telling there is no remainder at all. It's a perfect number. It's a factor basically. So here what you can do is, we have to do synthetic division itself. 10 k minus 16 3. Over here we have x value is 1. We will start, this goes down, it will be 10 times 1 is again 10 over here. Over here add them up, it will be k plus 10 and again multiplied 1, it will be k plus 10 itself over here. Add minus 16, so it will be k minus 6 over here, and then what will happen, multiply over here, you will get k minus 6. Add them up, what must be the answer? We know since 1 is a factor, no matter what the remainder, this one will be 0 because it's already mentioned here. So as long as I use 1 over here and 0 must be over here. That's the concept. If it was any other number, that number must be put. Imagine they gave say 5 over here, then put 5. Now we can easily solve k, isn't it? Because we know that if we add 3 and k minus 6, it must be equal to 0. So we add 3 plus k minus 6, that is equal to 0. Solve for k. K is equal to, this goes to the other side, it becomes plus 6 and this becomes minus 3, that is positive 3 is the answer. That is the value of k, this one. Now you can easily solve it in calculator. Over here, if you're thinking, okay, why don't I do this and this over here? Yes, let's try. Minus 16 plus k plus 10 must be equal to k minus 6. So now over here, what happens is, let's solve this up. What happens? K minus 6 is equal to k minus 6. This cancels. You're getting minus 6. If you cancel, 0 equals 0. You're getting an identity. So this is the issue. Even over here, you'll get an identity. Obviously, you're just adding and writing it over here, right? You're adding this and writing it, but it's in the variable form only. But over here, what happens is only one time variable, but you know this answer. So technically, you know what is it going to be equal to. Only this you can solve. So once you solve this, now I know this equation is 10x cubed plus, over here, k value we found out to be 3x squared. And lastly, negative 16x plus 3. Put this in the calculator, and if you want, you can graph it by mode 7 table, or you can solve for equations by mode 5 and 4. So that's how we solve this one. See, k value is 3, and this is the equation. Now, about geometry, a volume of the box with a square base is v of x, that's given over here. The height of the box is also given. What are the measures of the side of the base in terms of x? Now here the problem is we are dividing with a factor, coefficient of 2. This is not possible. So what you basically have to do is divide everything by 2. So this coefficient become, from 2 it becomes 1. It will be x cubed plus 7.5x squared plus 18x, over here also there is, and 26 is 13.5 plus 13.5. And what about over here? X plus 3 by 2 is 1.5. So now I will do minus 1.5. Why? Because x plus 5 is equal to 0. X is equal to negative 1.5. And then what do we write? 1, 7.5, 18, 13.5. Now let's bring it down over here. It becomes 1, multiplied over here, it'll be negative 1.5. Add them up, it'll be positive 6. Multiply 6 times negative 1, it'll be minus 9. Add them up, it'll be again 9 positive. Multiply it, it'll be negative 13.5. Yeah. And the answer is 0. So this is the factor. So it is 1x squared plus 6x plus 9. Now you can factor it out by using mod phi 3, but I'll just do it over here. 3 and 3. 3 times 3 is 6, and sorry, 3 times 3 is 9 when you add it up at 6. So it's basically x plus 3, x plus 3. Or it's x plus 3 the whole square. It's because it's square, right? Yeah, it's a square base. So the sides are x plus 3. Now how do you do this in the calculator? Just type in mod phi, that is for equation, and what is this? Option number 3 for quadratics, and just type in 1, 6 and 9. Now here you will just get one answer. See x, but there must be two answers, right? It's quadratic, but you're just getting x is equal to minus 3. Take it inside, it will be x plus 3. But what happens is, since you're just getting one answer, this is a repeated root. That means its magnitude will be power 2. There are two roots that's repeated. But if you find the factors, you'll understand it over here. So that's the answer. Now the side is x plus 3. That's the final answer. Over here you can see the base is x plus 3. I can see that they have not removed the factor. Really, you can do it, it's fine, but you will have extra 2. You know, 2 must be, you should reduce this factor, that's the thing. But it's better, it's a good habit just to divide by 2 throughout and write what was written over here. See, this is the actual exact way, and you get the correct answer itself. Now here what happens is, you might get confused. You need to remove factors, then you need to put in the calculator, and then you get the answer, finally x plus 3. So over here what they did is, they just divided this by 2. So it became x plus 3 by 2, and x is how much? Minus 3 by 2. But over here they wrote the coefficients as it is. Actually you have to divide even over here. That's the rule. Now here then again, these are simple problems. Average value of this is the equation given, and you need to find, see, it's from 2000 to 2018. This is the equation, it can be modeled. And now what you're doing is finding it at these certain years. You need to find the estimated average franchise value. So let us use a calculator. I've just typed the given equation over here. It's negative 0.307 x to the power 5 plus 1.65 x to the power 4. Look over here, I missed it. It's x power 4. It's always better after you type something, double check it. 24, 8.04 x cubed, 145.1, 100 is just 1 I've written, x squared, minus 207.594x, and lastly 482.008. Now calculate. From 2000 this is to 2003, it's 3 years. What is the answer? It is 620.725 million. You can see over here the answers are there. This is the first answer for 3. Now you have to solve for others. What is the second one? And you can see this is the table. They have approximated to million. 621 calculated at 12. That means from 2000, isn't it, over here? You need to write 12. That's it. X is 12. It's 1197. Now calculate it at 21. Sorry, I've just removed it all. Oh my god. So I will just type it out. Okay, you get the gist of it. You have to just keep on changing the x values, and then what happens is you get these values. So that's it. Be careful in the exam. Don't press things like what I did. I just removed that equation altogether, and you have to retype the entire thing. So it takes a long time. And what you need to do over here is find for 2025 as well. But do you remember in the question, they are clearly told that equation is only for 2000 to 2008. So what assumptions did you make for this prediction? Do you think this assumption is valid? I don't think so it's valid, because I'm starting to get negative numbers. And one more thing is, the assumption was only till 2018. So it is beyond its time, you know, and 25 years is very far. And the assumption does not seem to be valid, because it's not going to fall so quickly. See, from 1,740 millions, once only negative 15, that doesn't make sense. So that's the answer over here. Now, such problems we have already done a while ago. You have to just use the remainder theorem. Now, in such cases, you have to find what is the remainder, right? Just put this in the equation calculator and put x as minus 5. I'll show this one. All you do is type this equation 4x cubed minus 10x, and then we have plus 8 calculated at minus 5. The answer is negative 422. That's the answer. Similarly, you can do the other problem. Okay, this is a little bit different. The polynomial function p of x is symmetric in the y-axis and contains the point 2 comma minus 5. It's symmetrical along the y-axis. So let me just draw the point. It's much easier to analyze it. Now it's 2 and minus 5 somewhere over here. And it's symmetrical to y-axis. So it's symmetry. So it'll also be, if this is 2, it'll also go at minus 2. Symmetrical, like a mirror. This side. This is also the point. What is the remainder when p of x is divided by x plus 2? Explain your reasoning. So now what they're asking is, okay, we have used the remainder theorem, I believe. So yes, the remainder theorem is used. So I'll just explain what this means. So now to find the remainder, we have to use the remainder theorem. See, over here they have given x plus 2, right? But there is the remainder theorem. What does that say? When you're dividing, see now what is the remainder when p of x, see now p of x is symmetrical and they have given the points and all. This divided by x plus 2 is what you need to find, isn't it? But we don't exactly know what is this, but we need only the remainder. What is the remainder when it's divided? So the rule is, if you want to find if you have a term x minus r, the remainder is basically p of r. Now here, what is the x value get? X is equal to minus 2. So I'm not able to put this directly. So what we do is, we will just see if we put p of minus 2, what will be the answer. Over here, we don't have x of minus 2, so we can't tell it's minus 5. But they have told it's symmetrical, right? So the other point is basically what? Minus 2 comma minus 5. This was 2 comma 5. So here, if you put p of minus 2, it will be minus 5 as the answer. So the remainder is basically minus 5. So if at all you get such questions, what you can do is you can do it directly. Now look, what is the value here? It is 2, but x is equal to minus 2. So what is the coordinate? This is symmetrical along the y-axis. That means x value becomes plus and minus here, right? So what is this y value? That is the answer. This is the remainder. That's it. So remainder will become minus 5. The concept is simple, but even if you're getting confused, just remember, see what is the x values. Well, this is x, then what is the y value? That is the remainder. That's it. Same thing over here. No, over here it is simple. You can just do it directly. You just have to find the remainder, right? Put this in this equation. I've typed this given equation. All you need to do is calculate it at what? Square root 3. So what is the answer? 8 plus 3 root 3. So that is the remainder. Yes, you can see. They have written 8 later, but you can write anyhow. That's fine. So that will be the answer. That's the remainder. And that's the end of this question. It's a lengthy one. You need to know synthetic division. You need to know how to manipulate the remainder theorem, how to directly do it with the calculator. But at some times you have to use synthetic division and solve it when the constants are given, like the k values are given. Otherwise, you can easily use calculator and solve most of the problems.